CM Punk tried to get here. He wrestled in Portland last night. My chance to see him last night. He tried to get a jet here.
What's your thoughts on Conor? Obviously, you know, the whole talk about all the hype, and, you know, he was disappointed himself that he didn't get the finish, but still ended up putting on kind of a show here. What are your thoughts?
I love that he's that kind of a kid. I love that he's that kind of a fighter, you know what I mean? And, I mean, that just shows you more and more the promise that this kid has, you know? I love that attitude. He's pissed off he didn't finish. You got the guys, some guys that'll sit up here and go, you know, I won, and blah, blah, blah. He's pissed at himself because he didn't finish. Kidding me? It's right up my fucking alley. Why am I promoting this kid? Why am I getting behind him? Because I love what he's about.
You said the one fight that you didn't like. I think we all were on the same page there. Not to ask you to pile on there, but do you have any thoughts on Uriah Hall? What's wrong?
I love Uriah Hall. I have a great relationship with this kid. He's one of the nicest human beings you can ever meet. He's not a fighter, man. He's a fighter. If I could take Brad Pickett's brain and heart and put it inside Uriah Hall's body, holy shit, there'd be some damage done. You know, because Uriah Hall has all the physical attributes to be amazing. He's got speed, he's got power, he's got fucking, I mean, he's just unbelievable. He doesn't have what it mentally takes to fight here. You know what I mean? That was the high five competition. Listen, you're a nice guy, I get it. We're not here to fucking high five. We're not here to shake hands. We're not here. You can do all that shit when the fight's over. You're here to fight.
Does he get cut then?
Huh?
Does he get cut? He's 0-2.
I don't know, man. I gotta think about this one.
Well,
I don't like talking about stuff like that tonight, you know?
No, I know, but I mean, just to follow up what I did sort of say at the end of the interview, the press conference, so, I mean, Alistair Overeem is somebody that when he came here, you know, had a lot of, I mean, that fight with Brock was unbelievable. So I'm just kind of curious, you know, what your thoughts are on him and where do you match him up? Do you keep him around? You know, what do you do?
No, again, we got to see. Yeah. Not decisions that I make tonight, you know what I mean? Congrats.
Thank you.
You spent some time talking.
Couldn't happen to a better guy.
You spent a lot of time talking about the media rankings tonight. You know, when those first launched, you were like, yeah, Fox wants them, they want to put numbers up, but they really don't mean anything. It sounded like tonight you kind of feel like they do mean something.
There are rankings. There are rankings that you people decide.
But in the beginning you said, we're not going to base...
Get them right, folks. Yeah. What, you guys just half-assing it because I said they don't matter?
Well, no, but in the beginning you said, we're not going to base our matchmaking or anything on the rankings, but it sounds like now you're saying, well, maybe you should get the guys in the right spot so you can make the right fights.
We wouldn't put our fights together based on the rankings. Of course you do. But there's going to be times when, you know, one fights 7 or, you know, something like that happens. But I never said we won't base fights. I said they're not going to go exactly by the rankings.
It doesn't
that one
necessarily
fights
dictate
two.
exactly
Right.
how.
Still doesn't mean I want the rankings all fucked up and wrong, right? Like they are now.
Well, because
you don't even know what division he's in, though.
Well, if you assume he's 180, he's a 185 pounder who's moved up to 205. That's like saying, here we go.
He claimed he was moving up to 205.
So that's like saying the fights that Anderson Silva had at 205, we don't know what he is. Is he 205?
Well, Chael said he was moving up to 205 because he didn't have a route to the title. So he said,
I can understand that Chael would throw people off here and there. I'll give you that one. But still, if you look at him at 100, if you have him ranked at 185 pounds,
fair enough.
Okay, then he should be properly ranked. How Michael Bisping and Okami and these other guys, Jacare and all these other guys are ranked above Chael Sonnen, who's actually out there beating these guys. It makes no sense. Does it?
by the way, Phil Davis threw his name in the mix there and said he would take out Chael for the country of Brazil. Just curious your thoughts on that.
And everybody loves to fight Chael.
The fight between Vanderlei and Sonnen, do you think is the kind of fight that could go to Brazil?
Between who? Vanderlei and
Vanderlei.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You know, the fight just happened. I don't know.
Just if that would happen,
It could happen in Brazil. It could happen here. It could happen anywhere.
Talk a little bit about Vitor. Why do you think he keeps getting on and getting on Twitter every time somebody wins? I mean,
I don't want to answer that question, man.
And about Lyoto, I mean,
Huh?
you mentioned that you offered Diaz to Lyoto, and
Yeah.
right now he was just calling out.
Yeah, that was a
Sonnen.
bad idea. The Diaz Machida thing was. I'll throw now. Wait. Yeah, I'll throw Joe Silva under the bus again. That was Joe Silva's idea. It was a bad idea.
Diaz turned it down?
No, Diaz didn't turn it down. There's other things going on with Diaz. there's other things going on.
Okay, I just want to make sure I got this right. Based on what you just said about Chael, at the fight you're looking to make. Okay.
I'm not looking to make any fights with Chael right now. It just happened. I don't know what I want to do.
So you said by the end of the night we'd have an answer on Ireland, and I don't think we got it during the presser. Did we get the
Third quarter.
Oh, third quarter. Okay.
Yep, third quarter next year.
We saw wagering lines tonight too on the broadcast. Can you talk about the addition of that?
So Fox Sports 1's going to start putting up lines on fights and other sports too, not just fights.
So that was their call to add that in.
Yeah. Answer it before it hangs up. That's why I threw it to you.
What did Mr. Kraft think of the game tonight, Patriots owner?
Yeah, he loved it. Yeah, he's such a good guy. I could not say enough good things about that guy. It literally is amazing. What a good human being this guy is. It's awesome.
Well, we asked Conor afterwards because, I mean, that was a conversation everybody wanted to eavesdrop on. You, Oscar De La Hoya, Robert Kraft, talking to Conor McGregor after his win. What did you guys have to say to him?
You know, I introduced them to Conor, told him he was from Ireland, he just fought here and the place loved him. And Mr. Kraft was asking him questions about Ireland, and Oscar was asking him, you know, what he weighed and stuff like that. But Oscar was pretty blown away tonight too. He's never been to a live event before. Yeah, this is his first time.
Faber was talking about doing some fights out of the 135 division. How do you see that?
Who was?
Uriah Faber.
Uriah? Yeah. You know, Uriah's one of those guys that been around for a long time. He always delivers. You know, if you wanted to, I'd talk to him about it.
Can I ask you about John Howard? He did win. His fight wasn't great. He brought back in for his fight. What does his future look like with UFC?
No, he won. He'll fight again.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, though. But, you know, he's not usually in 185er, and now you're saying that he fought somebody who's not a fighter, so where do we go?
And he usually doesn't fight that way. It's not how he fights. It's like Uriah's so nice, and he makes the other guy really nice. Wow, this is a really nice guy. I really get the feeling this guy doesn't want to punch me in the face or do me any harm. I'll high five him.
So what was the difference?
Listen, we're both getting paid tonight. Let's just high five for 3 rounds if that's what we're going to do. You know what I mean? You've seen that before. You've seen when guys get into that whole high-fiving thing and they kind of get, you know, you're in a fight. You're here to use your martial arts to win this competition and move forward. You're not here to high-five and hug. That's great. It's one of the things I love about the sport is the sportsmanship that is displayed sometimes before, during, and after a fight. But it gets to a point where it gets ridiculous. And that's not what people are sitting home to watch. That's not what people paid to come into this building to watch. 2 guys hug and high five for 15 minutes.
Dana, did you get that sense from Hall during Tough? Because the way he was portrayed on television made
No.
him like a killer. Right.
No.
Right.
And it's a mental thing. It's a mental thing. He was this killer that everybody was afraid of on Tough. Then he comes into the big show where it all really matters and where you're going to make, you know, this is going to make your livelihood and everything else. And he turns into this different person, this super nice guy, you know? It's like he was telling me after, when I talked to him after the Kelvin fight, he's like, you know, I just really like him. He's a really nice guy. Okay. Well, that really nice guy just took every fucking thing you ever wanted. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Do you get that? Does that make sense to you? You know, and I guess it doesn't make sense to him.
Danny had some bad news this week with Reza Madadi obviously getting sentenced. I know, not sure if that crossed your desk or not, but he ended up getting 1.5 years in prison for theft of handbags, high-end handbags over in Sweden.
Bottega Veneta is very nice.
Yeah. His contract had been suspended. We asked for a statement from the organization, but we haven't heard anything yet. His contract had been suspended while the investigation was ongoing. But when you hear a guy goes away for 18 months, is it a safe assumption that he's...
Yeah, it's pretty... If he stole a bunch of handbags and was convicted of it, yeah, I'm sure he's going to be cut.
Do you know, are you aware of Brian Bowles' recent suspension by the Nevada Commission? He got suspended for 9 months, and I wanted to see if there was an update on that.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Dana,
Chael mentioned it was a learning process or an education process with Fox Sports 1. Do you feel as if going forward it's going to be a very good partnership for you guys?
No doubt about it. I mean, this partnership's been amazing for us. We're 1.5 years into this thing. And they've done every single thing they said they would do and just completely delivered. I mean, you know, I met Mr. Kraft about 1.5 years ago in Michigan, and we hung out at a Michigan game together. he was a nice guy. We met and we were talking and whatever. He was actually on the board for Viacom. He was one of the board members. Says, "So, we're gonna get this deal done?" I'm like, "Oh, you guys gonna pay us?" I guess we'll get it done. And we hung out. And he was a nice guy. And then we come here, and the game's on Fox, and they gave us all the promotion. They gave us on the football game, the Red Sox game today, and. It's just, I can't tell you, we could not be with better partners. I couldn't say enough good things about it, and you guys know me. If things are good, it's like, it's good, it's gonna work, see how it goes, but it's fucking beyond good. It's amazing.
And you'll get Fox Sports Live, and you'll get other, you'll be in other sports as well, like, during the other games you'll be promoted. I mean, do you think that's a positive?
And we will promote other sports in ours too, That's why Oscar was here tonight, because Oscar's on Fox Sports 1. Yeah. And I'm going to go to Oscar's show when he has his show, and
Monday night.
So everything about this channel and the people who are involved in it, everything just feels good.
Could we ever see a crossover show with boxing and MMA on the same night?
No. I'm not saying that I wouldn't promote Oscar stuff and do stuff for Oscar, but having a co-promotion would be. I've been to some of those shows. I've been to shows like where they'll have, all right, now we're going to have 3 Muay Thai fights. And it's like, if I wanted to go to a Muay Thai show, I'd go to a Muay Thai show. If I wanted to go to a boxing match, I'd go to a boxing match. I just don't think you should mix those things. It's the same thing, we've always been asked if we'd ever do a big concert. Do a concert and then have a fight and stuff like that. It's like, everybody that shows up for a UFC fight doesn't like the same band or the same genre of music or whatever it is. But if it's all, like the music that plays and the fighter walkouts and stuff, if it's all part of the show, then it is what it is.
Did you agree with them?
That's my opinion on it. But.
Did you agree with the Manny Gamborian split decision win?
I don't think I did. I was doing something in the back during that fight, and I was watching the first 2 rounds, and I thought that Cole won the first 2 rounds.
Well, plus there was the whole weird thing where it stopped with
where Cole really fucked himself, which it shouldn't have mattered anyway. That's not why he should have lost the fight. And I didn't see the 3rd round. When he does that elbow, he starts hanging out, hugging him. Like, again, one of those situations. You didn't follow him. It wasn't get up and walk over. You're not the doctor. You get up, you walk away, and go in your corner, and you have the doctor do it. And you see what. First of all, the ref didn't call a foul. Ref didn't say that he did anything illegal. Didn't call a foul. And what are you doing? You're a nice guy, I get it. Beat it. Get out of there. Go to your corner. You didn't do anything wrong. Walk away to your corner. I know you're friends with Manny. If you want to talk to Manny after the fight. Maybe that cost you the fight. I don't know. But I can tell you this. First time, second time we've been in Boston, the commission here did a great job. That one ref that nobody's ever seen or heard of before in the Pickett McDonald fight did a great job. He let that fight go on, and then, he did a fantastic job. So, great.
What did you think of that first round with Manny and Cole, where it looked like it could have been a stoppage? He was on the ground, and usually when guys are on the ground to end a round like that and don't get up, they call it a TKO.
How about this? How about when the guy's holding the back of his head with like a head injury and is blinking like this and going, yeah, my head's busted up. Yeah, you stop that fight. Yep. But everything about that was weird. Yeah. The ref didn't call a foul. He's hanging out, hugging him like he, just fucking murdered him or something. It was very weird. Very weird.
McDonald only got a 10-9 on one of the judges' cards in the first round over Pickett.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty scary. And then some of the other fights were 30-26.
Right.
25.
Yeah.
Was it 30-25? Would a limb fall off or something? You kick a limb off? I didn't know this stuff before. I just said 30-25. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, that was close to a limb. That guy, he had 2 contusions. Listen, that could have been a 30-10. That was one of the most lopsided, one-sided beatings you'll ever see in the UFC. I've gone to shows, I've gone to smaller shows and seen a fight like that and said, this is horrible matchmaking, and they're trying to build that guy off this guy. That guy is terrible. You know what I mean? Probably one of the worst lopsided fights I've ever seen in the UFC.
To be clear on the Matt Brown thing, you said that he had a bad camp.
But he
No,
seemed,
that's
okay,
not what
so
I said.
you did mean Files, so he had it correct. I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah, he had it right. What I said was, you know, I sometimes I don't like to bring things like that. Like I have knowledge of certain things that I don't like to talk about. Like what I heard was he gets the best of him in the gym, and you know, Matt Brown's got to go in and fight this guy who beats the living shit out of him in the gym every day. You know, I'm sure he wasn't too excited about taking that fight, but he takes the fight, he goes in, and training isn't fighting. Two totally different things. You know how many times I've heard that he whoops his ass in the gym, this fight's going to be in, boom, it's the complete opposite.
What do you think about Matt Brown and Robbie Lawler? I know that a lot of people immediately jump to that just given their styles of.
Yeah, that's a crazy ass war. Crazy war.
And I know you were saying that it's up to the, you know, people who submit the rankings, the media and stuff, but do you think Matt Brown should be getting in the top 10 at this point?
Sure. Yeah. Guys on a listen, beating Pyle tonight was a big deal. It's a big deal. And he viciously knocked him out the way that he did. Pyle's tough for everybody. Usually what happens, Pyle, like he said, Pyle's the best in the sport. He beats everybody up in the gym. He does it. You hear about gym fighters your whole life who are unbelievable in the gym but don't perform. But Mike Pyle is a guy who comes and performs. Mike Pyle is that guy that makes you look like shit. You know what I mean? The fight is usually a grind out fight. It goes back and forth and it goes to its decision and Mike Pyle wins, you know? And Matt Brown put the stamp on him tonight.
Dan,
I know, I got you.
can you go back to the Diaz thing for a second? You said he has other plans.
Yeah,
Do you mean-
no, I'm not talking about that, but thanks for asking.
No, I have some other
What?
stuff. What did you say to Eddie Alvarez yesterday at the weigh-ins?
That I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him. Yeah, he's still here, he's waiting.
Did you talk to him? Oh, you haven't talked to him.
Yeah, I want to talk to him.
This felt in some ways like the first Fox show for the company, the Velasquez dos Santos show, back in November of 2011. It was a big moment for Fox, it was a big moment for you, it just felt like a big deal. And after that show, I couldn't help but feel like you were a little disappointed with the way the fight ended. It was so quick. This one feels like a home run with everything that happened with Chael. Can you compare how you feel tonight as opposed to how you felt back then?
A lot better. Yeah, 59 minutes of talking and 1 minute of fighting is never fun. Tonight was awesome. Tonight was action-packed. I think the people at home got what they wanted, and definitely the people who were here live got what they wanted. This place was rocking all night, from the first fight to the last fight. The place was going crazy, and it's always fun when you have those fights that you don't know what's going to happen. And I mean, nobody expected Chael Sonnen to pull off a guillotine choke in the first round of Shogun. And I had read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, but you guys see the thing where they were saying that Vanderlei bet 100,000 on Shogun?
Said he was going to.
Whether he did or not, I don't know. Did he?
I think he did. I was trying to confirm, but he didn't answer his phone, so.
I bet. He might have jumped off his roof tonight. He might not.
At least we know we're going to
be
get another fight out of him since he.
Yeah.
But since like
Yeah, he'll be looking to fight next weekend. I'm broke.
since Lyoto and against Diaz is not a good idea, do you think that he still can fight Belfort? That fight can still happen?
I don't know. I got to figure this whole nightmare out. I got to. There's a ton of different fights we're looking at right now. I got to figure it out. I got to figure out Diaz. I got to figure out Lyoto. I got to figure out Dan Henderson. I got to figure out a bunch of guys that need fights right now.
What about Lawler? You were mentioning him before, and I guess you mentioned to Ariel before that they was actually thinking about Rory McDonald versus Robbie Lawler. Is that still something that you're thinking about, or is that changed now with Matt Brown in the picture?
Yeah, we like that fight.
Is that fight going to happen for sure?
I think so, yeah.
Any idea when?
When?
No.
Would you call the Overeem signing a mistake now?
I mean, you guys especially all believe that he was the best at one time, and you know, he had a big following. You bring a guy like that in, he had, and you see what happens. I mean, we bring in the best guys in the world, or guys who are supposedly the best in the world, and we find out. That's what we do.
But he'll be back.
I have no idea.
What is it based on?
Off of the fact that I don't even think about that stuff tonight. You know, like I said, there's so much other stuff to think about. I got a lot of other fights to make, and tonight I just want to be happy that this went off great. And and I don't make fights after fights, so. Or cut people after fights.
And about Shogun, I mean, you were talking about how great he was, and kind of talking about that he would not retire.
He's still one of the best in the world in that weight division, and he got caught in a guillotine tonight. When we were talking about that, we were talking about Kevin Iole had asked me about him losing off and on, and about him, asking him to retire or whatever. He got caught in a guillotine choke tonight, which happens. Not like he got viciously knocked out or.
Going back to just more cross promotions with Fox, has anything been ironed out for Super Bowl weekend as of yet, and what you guys are going to be doing?
No, nothing. All I've been focused on was tonight.
And also with Rhonda, she had sent out the pictures. She was going to do Fast 7, and then before the tough screening, said that's kind of up in the air.
That was the first I'd heard of that.
Oh, that's
no,
wasn't hang up on your end.
No, she had the deal. No. I haven't messed with her in the movie stuff at all. The thing is, Rhonda does things the right way. Rhonda comes to me way in advance, says they're talking to me. I'm interested in doing this. Can I do it? And then we sit down, we look at what's going on, and we make a decision on what's best for everybody. Not what's best for her, not what's best for me, but what's best for all of us. And that's that. When you work that way, and your attitude isn't just fuck you, I'm going to do this, and this is what I'm going to do. Then we can work stuff out. When you got the other attitude, that's when we have problems.
Was the extra bonuses you handed out tonight, was that more based on the show being what it was, just being happy with the show, or was it just merited off of the guys, what they did out there?
No, it was off performances. I mean, look at McDonald. Look at how good he looked tonight. And that submission he pulled off was sick. I mean, that submission was awesome. And then you turn around, Matt Brown viciously knocks out the guy who I just described to you. Then you have Travis Brown, who gets his ass completely whooped and comes back and pulls off that. I mean, every guy who got paid tonight deserved to get paid.
Well, and Seiler got a really fast knockout as well for Mike Brown.
Yeah. And I love that story because leading up to these type of fights and these things that we do, I get really emotional. And every time after the weigh-ins, I always speak to the fighters after the weigh-ins. And for ones like these, I set up these big, big deal. I want these guys walking out of that room with their fucking goosebumps, having goosebumps. So we did this one, and everybody's getting, holy shit, and this and that. And I'd heard that Seiler was pissed that I hadn't said his name one time this week in the lead up to this thing. So I said in this meeting, make me fucking talk about you on Saturday night. Make me talk about you. And I still hadn't talked about him up until you just said that. So thank you. And yes, wow. He'll be getting paid too. He didn't win one of the big major bonuses tonight, but Steven Seiler will be taken care of. He came out, he delivered tonight. I didn't talk about him, and now I'm talking about him. He looked unbelievable. Yeah.
Just thoughts on the show tonight? Obviously, we were talking entertaining fighters, had a lot of good fights, and some of those were rough.
Lozon? Yeah, he looked terrible tonight. He looked terrible. He looked like he wasn't even there. He was just going through the motions, and I don't know. It's not Lozon. It's funny, too, because all the hype leading up, and I even told in that speech that I gave the guys in the back, Joe Lozon has made over $600,000 in fighter bonuses. Over $600,000. And, we've all seen it before. There's those nights. First of all, Lozon looked terrible. He looked like he wasn't even there. He was just going. On the other side, he looked fucking awesome. You know what I mean? So it was one of those things where, he had the worst night he's ever had, and he had the best night he's had in a long time.
What are your plans for expanding to new markets, like for example Russia, and also are you looking into seriously adding any additional weight classes? Anything?
No weight classes, and we're focused on China right now. We're getting that done, all the things for the Ultimate Fighter over there, and doing fights, and then we are going to Russia in, I don't know, weeks or a month or whenever it is. We're going to Russia to sit down and talk about stuff in Russia.
I had an Australian fan hounding me to ask if you were going to Australia. Well, I think they were hounding everybody if you're going back to Australia. I think the initial rumor was December, and I guess maybe that got thrown around it.
Yeah, I can't. Everybody left. I don't know.
With China, it's?
But yeah, we are.
You were planning this year,
yeah.
yeah.
We're working on tons of things in Australia. Australia is a huge market for us too. We finally, like I told you guys the other day, we got. Oh no, I wasn't you. It was the Irish and English guy I talked to. But we got England and Ireland buttoned up now, and we're really making a lot of progress there. Finally, and we're really working hard on Australia too.
Just getting a new TV deal in place, that sort of thing.
Just getting, it's getting other things fixed, not necessarily a TV deal, but other things.
With China, does that mean Macau, or is there an option to go to Shanghai or Beijing?
We're going to take this thing all over. Yeah, we want to take it all over China, but we're working on the Ultimate Fighter there right now. The thing is right there. I mean, the deal's done and everything's done. It's just getting it organized.
And will you have to deal with the government there, obviously, in a big way?
Yeah, we've been dealing with the government since, but it hasn't been as bad as people would think it is. It's been great. Dealing with China's been great.
Can you also talk?
Video content you have that's been acquired from other promotions. I guess WC, Strikeforce more obviously. I think we talked about Affliction Elite XC. How can fans get access to these videos? I mean, are you planning on putting them on demand?
That's a great question. It's a great question. Actually, our digital business isn't where we would like it to be, but we're working on that too. We're really focusing on that, and we're looking to. We literally had a meeting like 3 weeks ago, and started looking at all the areas that we're not performing the way that we should be performing. And when you're running the way that we're running and doing the things that we do, a lot of things slip through the cracks sometimes, and that is a big one that we're working on.
Yeah, that was brought up 2 years ago in DC, and you said you were busy. I think you were getting ready for Fox at that time, and so I figured this would be a good time for follow-up.
We are well aware that we are not where we should be in the digital space, and we're working on it.
Can you also talk about Alcantara? What did you think about his performance, and do you think that right now he's at least a little bit known here in the U.S. outside Brazil?
No, he's not. But he looked good tonight. He looked really good tonight, but he lost. So, his plans of becoming known didn't really work out, but he looked great tonight, and he had Uriah in some trouble. So we'll see what it means for the kid.
Okay, we'll go to Russia. Will you be meeting with Vadim?
No.
Are we trying to get Fedor on the show?
No, Fedor's retired. We're going there to honestly talk about doing business in Russia. Talking to Vadim isn't honestly going to really work on Russia. You know what I mean? But that was funny.
Last weekend I was watching Fox Deportes, and they had this show called UFC Classics, where they would air a full event, pre-Zuffa era, full pay-per-view card,
Right.
like UFC 20, and then the next day was UFC 21. Would you ever do that for the English-speaking channels?
Well, we're killing it on that channel. That's why they're trying to get as much content as they can, because it's really doing well. And yeah, I mean, the answer is yeah. I mean, we could cut up the library a million different ways and do different things. What you guys don't understand is, like, when we got Fuel, like when we did Fuel, you saw all the Best of Pride and all the shows that were the content that was going on there, because all that content was rating really well for them. We were breaking records. Every time we'd set a record, we'd break it next time we did something over on Fuel. So we have tons of content. It's about distribution. How much content can you really put out? And does it make sense to do the classic fights when we're trying to get people to know who the new fighters are? You know what I mean? So those fights don't really matter to me. So I'd never be in a position unless I had serious distribution, and I needed to pump out more, content to create content like that. I want you watching. I want you watching the guys who fought tonight. Those are the fights I want you watching.
Do you still ever think about your own network?
I think I got my own network now.
And what did you think of Bryant's stand at 163? And is there a chance we'll see him doing that more?
Mm-hmm. Bryant Stan is incredibly talented at everything he does. Yeah. Guy's amazing. Yes, he will be doing more of that. He's doing college football. He's doing UFC tonight. And he will be doing UFC events too.
Would you ever go back to the three-man booth?
We've talked about it, but I don't like it. I like the two-man booth better. You know what I mean? It just flows better, and there's less stomping on each other, and so no.
And can you explain why it was Anik and Rogan tonight?
Because Tonight's fights should have been Anakin Kenny or Anakin Stan or something like that. But Rogan didn't go to Brazil, so I had Rogan come here, and Rogan's from Boston. I wanted Rogan for the launch. It all just kind of lined up that way.
Dana, one of the things we saw Brian Stan do in his broadcast was score rounds. It's something we never see Goldberg or Anik do. How do you feel about your announcer scoring rounds?
No, I don't hate it. It's up to him. He's got his own opinion of how he thinks the round went, but we'll see how it lines up with the judges most of the time.
You know, we always talk about the fact that women really deliver when they fight. Was there any consideration to getting a ladies' fight on this card, tonight?
I don't think so. We just, we made the card and just happened the way it happened.
How's Kat? Have you had any updates?
Talked to her tonight. She's great. Yeah. She's in good spirits. She's feeling better, and all good.
Dana, regarding some of these matchmaking challenges, have you considered maybe creating an online poll and letting the fans really speak?
No.
You're afraid of losing.
Dana, there were a couple new Phantom cameras tonight, I guess, and a couple specialty cameras.
Yeah.
Going forward, is that something that we're going to see all the time? Or is
yeah,
that...
we're doing that anyway with Fox. We're working on all these new things that we can make the fan experience better, and as technology continues to get better, and they come out with all these new cameras, that little one that sits outside the cage. So that one that you see that looks kind of different and weird, it sits outside the cage and it blurs out the cage. That's outside the cage, but it blurs the cage out. You see right through it. How fucking crazy is that, right?
What do you think about that? Because it has a totally different feel to it. You know what I mean? So is it weird? Is the continuity?
It's a little jarring at first because it looks so much different. But tonight they were getting really good angles with it. Where they were in where the action was. So I like it.
Dana, I saw that Nick Newell was here tonight. Did you meet with him at all?
Oh no, I didn't know he was here. Yeah.
He's from
cool.
Right around Springfield.
I know he's from Mass. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know he was here. Huh?
Connecticut. He's from Connecticut.
Same thing.
No, it's not.
Close enough. Close enough.
Dana, some American fans are feeling neglected because Vitor hasn't fought here in quite some time. Are you thinking of bringing him back?
Yeah, at the last press conference we talked about this. I was talking I don't remember who Vitor was fighting at that time, but I said we'd probably do it in Las Vegas. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. The fans aren't feeling neglected. Fans are being dicks is what they're doing. And they say that he can't fight here because of the TRT thing, which is complete bullshit. Vitor Belfort can fight here. He can fight in Vegas. He can fight in any of these places.
With TRT?
Yeah. Well, whether they give him TRT or don't.
He's told me he would, if he got a title shot, he'd give up his treatment to fight in Vegas.
It's not a given that he has to give up the treatment in Vegas. The guy's been busted before. He's had some issues. He's going to have to go before the Athletic Commission. They're going to decide what they're going to do. It doesn't mean he can't fight in Vegas. It's like Vitor Belfort is banned from Vegas or something crazy is going to happen. We're hiding him in Brazil because he's on TRT. That's just stupid internet shit. You know what I mean? Vitor Belfort is a big draw in Brazil. So he fights in Brazil. Same thing with Aldo and a lot of these other Brazilian champions. If any of you have ever been to Brazil, Brazilians want to see the Brazilians, and they want to see Brazilians kick other people's asses, not other Brazilians' asses. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a very unique, different market down there. Like we could go to the UK and we brought BJ Penn, and they went crazy for BJ Penn. Brazilians want to see Brazilians kick ass, and they don't want to see them fight other Brazilians.
So it's not possible seeing like a fight, main card fight with like two Americans or like in Brazil.
America versus Brazil?
America versus America in Brazil.
Okay. Americans versus Americans?
In Brazil, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you had maybe the right fight, you could. I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that question. Because Brazilians love to see Brazilians win. And if anybody knows that, it's you, lady.
I am Brazilian.
I know you are.
Do you find, obviously Conor McGregor couldn't be the main event yet when the UFC goes to Ireland. Is there anybody that you find has a specific appeal over there? Or you know what I mean, that you're already kind of eyeballing for that position?
You have never been to Ireland.
I have, but not
No,
with
you
Conor.
haven't.
Yeah.
He could headline. Are you kidding me? If he headlined a card in Dublin, it would be insane.
Would you do that?
No, he's not ready to headline a card. Yeah, he's 2-0. He's headlining the card. That would be great in Ireland. It wouldn't be so great everywhere else. But he could in Ireland. So.
Dana, what's the state of the business plan to set up different circuits in other countries where it'll only be available in those countries, like a Europe circuit?
It's close.
Can you give us more?
It's close. That's about all I got. We're looking at that, and we're talking about that.
Is that the rough outline of it? There will be fights that only people in those countries will be able to see locally?
Yeah. That's going to happen in China. Yep.
So they'd be regional, like regional.
Well, as you go into these markets that aren't as built up as other parts of the world, you have to build it. You have to start from scratch, and you have to build it. And China, you talk about Brazil. China is very much about China kicking ass. You know what I mean? So we're building from the ground up. We're doing the same thing in Mexico and some other countries.
Well, we've also talked about South Africa, and I know I always talk about Ruan Potts, who's a former heavyweight champion over there. Really great guy. EFC Africa does pretty well, so I'm wondering, is that an organization that you would consider absorbing, or would you just kind of temporarily sign a couple of the guys to fight on a UFC card over there? How would you manage that? Because they have a pretty good organization.
Yeah, they do. I agree. I don't know. I don't like to talk about all the shit that we're doing and what we do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But those are some good questions.
Yeah, there's been like a lot of people like this fighter called Cathal Pendon. Is his name? He's Conor's partner, training partner, I believe, and there's other talent from Poland, Mohamed Kalidov, maybe some good fighters in Scotland. I mean, what are you looking at? Are you at liberty to disclose which potential athletes you might want to bring into the UFC?
We're looking for any guy who's perceived to be the best on a big fight, on a win streak, we're always looking for the best guys. So, it doesn't matter what country you're from. I don't care where you're from on this planet. If you're on a win streak, you got a good record, and we think you could do something, we're interested in you. Like Conor McGregor.
You mentioned when you first heard about Conor McGregor, you were in Ireland, and everyone was like,
it was crazy.
Harassing you. And you hadn't heard of him, you thought he was a heavyweight. When you went back and talked to Joe Silva, was he already on Joe's radar at the time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they knew who he was. Yep.
Was he already thinking about signing him at that time?
Yeah. Yep. You heard of this heavyweight Conor McGregor? No.
Sean Shelby's going to be pissed now.
Huh?
Sean Shelby's back. He likes to take credit, Sean Shelby. I say he's going to be pissed at Joe.
He's like our Ariel of matchmakers.
Dan, you guys ever going to do strawweight?
I hope so.
Why do you really?
Yeah, it means the sport's growing, and we added another division, and there's smaller guys out there. Especially when you start talking about China and Asia and even Mexico.
Is another women's division more likely than strawweight now?
No, we're not even close to another women's division. I'm going to sit on this division for a while and see how this thing goes. Build this thing up, and take some time.
Speaking of the women's division, Sarah McMahon lost a fight against. Sarah Kaufman lost a fight against Sarah McMahon recently. I don't know if it's probably something you're not really thinking about right now, but if you have, I was wondering if there might have been if Sarah Kaufman might have gotten a fight since Sarah McMahon was forced to pull out.
Right. I don't know the answer to that one either.
No worries.
How are you doing? You guys done with me?
One more. I think, I don't have my notes in front of me, but I think one of your fighters in the, I think it was Udo Viana, I think, was missing an opponent. Is that correct?
Who?
Was he matched up? Wolverine.
Yeah, what about him?
Is he matched up right now?
I don't know. I know nothing about anything except what happened here tonight. I got to get back. I'm taking 2 days. I'm going up to my house up north, and I'm gonna chill out for a couple days, and then I'm going back to the office and diving into all the bullshit. Back in. You know what I want to know that you'll know the answer to? What happened to that Brazilian kid that fought for Bellator and did that thing to that girl, and then him and his buddy ended up getting beat out in front of that.
I don't know.
Did that guy come out of the coma?
I don't.
Karyn, I've been following up on him. No, I think he was still going to come as of last time I checked.
So how long? That's been a month?
It's been over a month. He's been dealing with lung infections and things like that, so they've been kind of having to put him back in sedation. So he hasn't woken up as of, like I said, as of.
And what about the kid who did it? What's wrong with him?
Oh no, the kid who hit him with the
No, the kid Falcone isn't in a coma, is he?
No, he got beat up, but he's fine.
He's all right.
He just has some stitches.
Bunch of stitches?
Yeah.
And did they catch the kids that did it?
They did, and the guy who hit him with the 2x4 was a minor. So
check this out.
that could cause problems with prosecution.
They don't prosecute minors.
No,
He's
they
been keeping me
do, but
updated,
it's like
not
a
to the
slap on the
fullest
wrist,
extent. It's
like
kind of
a
like because he's a minor, they'll let him go.
They won't charge him as an adult. Yeah. Wow. Well, that makes it a dangerous place when minors can do crazy things and not get charged, right?
Start breaking out 2x4s and stuff. I think you're 18 at that point in my mind.
Right. Yeah, it was one of the most vicious things I've ever seen. I was just crazy to watch that video.
Were there any last-minute hijinks by the union people, anybody today, or the people trying to block the under 18s from coming in?
No, they can't. First of all, that hearing's on. Does any one person think here that that's really going to happen? And I told you guys, man, I love when these guys come out and do stuff like. I came in here on Tuesday. Tuesday, right? What was my media day? Wednesday? Tuesday was my media day. All right, we got in like 3:34 in the morning. That's right. So I had this media schedule that day. My media schedule got even bigger, and then it lasted. It didn't just last one day. It lasted 4 days. You know what I mean? These guys, they come in and they do stuff like this, and it just it makes everything bigger. People who wouldn't cover us here for this fight, everybody covered this fight because of what Commissioner Knucklehead was doing. You know what I mean? This guy comes out and starts doing what he's doing, and it created a lot more awareness about the UFC. And everybody that I came in contact with here in Boston had heard about what was going on. Then we're in town, And so I would just like to thank all my friends at the union for really helping us with the PR push this week. It was a huge success, and I can't thank you all enough.
It's my sense that in the first few Fox shows, when there was blood in the canvas, they painted over, and that's not happening anymore. Can you talk about the evolution of that?
Yep. It's, everything that we've dealt with from day one, nobody wanted to put free fights on. Fox was the people we did it with first on the best damn sports show, period. Crushed it in the ratings and killed it, and they still passed. You know the history. Then we went and spent money and got bought our way onto Spike TV, huge success, and then we come back over here, and you have to. They have to have a couple of events and get things going, and and it's like talking about the union. The union used to really, get in there and screw things up and do a lot of stuff. They don't screw anything up. They create a lot more awareness, and they really help build events, So it's been great. And like I told you, when we were talking the other day, Sheldon Adelson destroyed these guys. They literally shiver when they even hear his name. So, plus when they started messing with him, he was worth a few million. Now he's worth $3 billion. So maybe they're good luck.
Does the blood have something to do with the union, that push? That had something to do with...
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just keep reverting back to it.
So wait.
Who's Sheldon Adelson?
Sheldon Adelson owns the Venetian. He's one of the richest men in America, and he beat the union down. He ended up. So I explained this to you guys a little bit the other day. So basically, what they want is the Fertittas have told these guys, let's do secret ballots. Come into station casinos, let's do secret ballots, and let's see if people want a union. They don't want to do secret ballots. What they do is they set up shop inside the lunchroom, and they terrorize. You see how they operate. You see what they try to do. Now imagine doing that to normal people. I am far from a normal fucking person. You know what I mean? You're not gonna do that to me. You're not gonna bother me. You're not gonna, I will take what you do and spin it in a good way and make it a positive for us. But when they're dealing with normal people, they push, they bully, they terrorize, they do these things until, they finally, I told you guys, when they unionized When they did the deal with MGM and they set up in their thing, it took years for them to get a union in there. Even when they got carte blanche and opened it up and got to get in there, you know. So this is it's the way it all works. But Sheldon Adelson destroyed them, and that was why the other day when you guys were saying, when are you gonna? Why don't you just work with these guys? You don't work with these guys. These aren't people you work with. Not to mention the fact that Station Casinos, I can't remember if it's Forbes or what magazine calls them one of the best places to work in America every year. They're one of the top places to work in America. Nobody's calling for a union over there, so it's never going to happen.
Dan, another fight organization recently announced a deal with Adidas to put the logos on the gloves. Have you guys ever explored logos on gloves?
Yeah, we have the UFC logo on it.
No, but I mean with other companies, other apparel companies.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking to Reebok. We've been talking to Nike. I don't know if we talked to... Yeah, well, we talked to Adidas because Adidas owns Reebok. So, we just haven't come to a deal. Sure, it's a lot easier to lock up the RFA than it is the UFC.
You licensed the Octagon to the RFA as well. Can you talk about that decision?
It's Ed Soares. I like Ed Soares.
And he's got this goal of being like the official minor league to the UFC. Do you think that's a viable plan?
He's not the official, you know.
Well, you know he's not there yet, but that's what he'd basically like to see it become. Do you think that's something viable?
Everybody is. I mean, all these smaller shows are, you know, the official league to the UFC, including your boys at Bellator. Good? Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Hey,
Me too.
seriously, thank you guys so much. You know, when I was talking about us and the fighters,
yeah,
you guys helped make this really, really awesome too.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.